Welcome to this week's episode on Stop the Asian Hate program, brought to you by a grant from the California State Library in collaboration with the Burlington Community Services and Housing Development. I'm your host this morning, Velma Sugay. Today, we are so pleased to say we are making progress. After the show we had with the Roques and the narrative versus Weber, they somehow mentioned that they felt they could probably get more support from the Philippine Consulate Office. And the Philippine Consulate Office, I am pleased to say, had responded in a powerful way. They had made a strong statement saying that they condemn in a very, very strong manner the hate crimes that have occurred to our Asians, specifically to our Filipino Americans in this land. On top of that, they actually invited some officers from the LAPD Asian Hate Division in the Rampart area of Los Angeles to speak about how our community members can report safely and securely. The numbers they had asked us to call were 211-311, and then they gave a phone number for the LAPD, which we will have our dear tech guy crawl underneath, so you can see that's an 877 number, and I believe it's 877 Ask LAPD based on my memory. And so we are pleased that this campaign is bearing fruit, and really rather quickly. So we'll be right back with more on this story after a few reminders.
Asian Fall Festival, organized and produced by Diamond 100 Racing Club and Santa Anita Park. The Asian Fall Festival will be held in Santa Anita Park on October 8th and 9th, 2022. Enjoy a beautiful sunny day in Southern California and experience the colorful Asian culture. Asian Fall Festival brings the long-standing Asian culture to Santa Anita Race Park through food and culture of Asian countries such as China, Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, Taiwan, the Philippines, Malaysia, and ASEAN countries. On these special days, you, your family, and foodie friends can gather together to enjoy all the good things in life, as well as the exciting horse racing. We offer dozens of food experiences, music and entertainment activities, such as Korean K-pop dance, Japanese Thai drum, and anime cosplay, bull riding, pony riding, live sketching, and so much more. Come and join us as we create this community festival together. Let's bring an unprecedented fun and gorgeous October 8th and 9th, 2022. For booth sponsorship inquiries, please call Mr. Young's channel 323-561-8279.
To our show, and I'm so pleased because we have my doctor friend here, health psychologist and author of Dr. Jeff Ringhair. For those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, has actually dedicated his life to bridging the gap when it comes to racial differences, diversity. So he actually walks the talk, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm doing this for my family. He really means it from the heart, and that was quite exciting. You were there for a while. hiking, we're saying, and doing some nature stuff.
Well, my whole world has been working to improve social communities, but my kids are really dedicated to being sure that we're taking good care of Mother Earth and nature.
They're communing with nature.
Yes, and trying to really heal the damages that we've done to this precious planet. So I'm very proud of them. Happy to spend
As you should. And you know what? Someone's got to do the dirty work. And your son has really stepped up to the plate. He's a college student.
Yeah, I have twins, actually. One was doing
Wow.
nature work in Alaska, and the other was doing nature work in Colorado.
Oh my goodness. It doesn't get better than this story. Really, this might take a whole episode. So we'll get to that in just a while. I am actually having twins myself by my daughter. I am going to be a grandmother of twins come November. So this means a lot to me. What we do, what we continue to see in terms of progress, which brings me back to our narrative about the Roques. And so the last time we had spoken about them, even way before I had gotten the opportunity to speak with them live.
I firmly believe that community and people around you will definitely be the ones who are more than willing to support you. There were bystanders who witnessed the whole thing because it was, again, like a drive-through. So a lot of people were also wanted to get food that night. But there were two notable bystanders who unfortunately refused to give their names to us. Well, they were basically the ones that helped try to stabilize the situation. They were the ones that helped the assailant stay far away from me and my family. It got pretty bad to where my dad got a broken rib and a really bruised upper left arm. And my mom was, as you know, was strangled and was basically choking, and she got punched in the chest, which was meant to be directed at her face. So I guess it's safe to say that it was really bad. It still had long-lasting physical effects on both of my parents, not only the emotional and mental trauma.
Yeah, so Filipino Migrant Center is a nonprofit based here in Southern California, and they assist and cater to the needs of trafficked migrant Filipino workers, particularly here in SoCal, which there's like a huge population of Filipinos here. And they deal with wage theft cases and also give out assistance to those in need. So I want to emphasize the importance of organizing and solidarity with other people of color, because it's not just us Filipinos who face discrimination with any sickness or anything. It's not our fault. And so it's through us banding together and showing support for each other.
But at that time, they were sort of saying, I wish our Philippine consulate office were more responsive, because they had tried to reach out. But obviously, a consulate office serves a lot of people, so there was probably just a little delay, because they stepped up to the plate, my friend. And they actually invited the Roques to come for them for an audience, have a one-on-one with them. And then on top of that, they invited the LAPD to speak about stats and how the hate incidents that could very well turn into hate crimes may be better handled.
We do realize within the communities that these are underreported, meaning that when these do occur, some people are reluctant to come forward with it and bring it to our attention. So I want to make sure that everybody understands that how critical it is that if you're a victim of a crime or a hate crime, that you report it to the police immediately. We encourage that anyone who is a witness of a hate crime or a hate incident, please do so. Please step forward. Give us the information. In order for us to identify the individuals, in order for us to prosecute, we need everybody's help. So appreciate you all being here again. Thank you very much.
That's my point exactly. So please, give us the chance to serve you, to do what we can. We're not the LAPD of 25 years ago. Give us the chance, encourage your friends and family to report it, let us do our thing, and hopefully we can stop the next person from being the victim, or get your friends and your family in contact with somebody who can help them get past one of the worst days of their life.
And then, of course, Nikki, our cameraman today, and who has been following up the Roque versus Weber case at the Van Nuys Court, also shared that doesn't look good. That it seems as though, based on what they've learned so far and how the judge is sort of handling the matter, that it could go either way. You know, sometimes you know for sure, oh, this is going to work in favor of the Roques. This one, we aren't sure. And that's why they pleaded for immediate support. They pleaded for the support of the Philippine Consulate Office. And now for all the community members to please come and rally behind them, because this is not their fight alone.
Well, I'm hearing from a theme of trust,
Yes.
or lack thereof.
Yes.
And, you know, how do we, as citizens, grow our trust for the police department? How do we grow trust for each other? How do we actually build trust in ourselves? I think these are important underlying questions. And part of the answer is what you just said. It is about deep listening. I think the ability to really tune into somebody else, to turn down the volume of all the distractions, and to really hear somebody else's story, their hurt, their pain, their joy, perhaps. I think we have a drought of deep, heart-centered listening. And I also think that we could do a better job at turning down the volume of judgment, quickness to judgment.
I like that.
A thoughtful leader in New York, Anu Gupta, who's been writing and thinking and teaching about how we navigate stereotypes. And he has this beautiful model called the PRISM model, PRISM. And it helps us kind of remind ourselves of the steps. So the P stands for perspective taking. How do I try and really understand what you've been through and what it's been like for you? It's not just about deep listening, I think, but it's also about letting you know that I hear you. Right? To be able to sort of acknowledge what you're saying, acknowledge your experience. So perspective taking, I think, is an important foundation that we need to remind ourselves about. It's easy just to get stuck in our own world and our own world view.
Touch tools, right?
Exactly. So P is for perspective taking. R is the R in pro-social behavior. This is a reminder that it's important for us to invest in the best of who we are. To invest in my capacity for kindness, for altruism, for generosity, for lending a hand to somebody else.
Being brave enough to do that, especially as a bystander.
Well, I'm saying even just in our lives more globally,
Generally,
to develop those capacities. So when we get to a tough moment where we're either engaged in a conflictual situation or observing it, we have some practice to lean with seeing the best in others, some optimism about being able to navigate it positively.
Yes.
So I, for in our PRISM model, is about individuation. This is an interesting process about trying my best to see you for who you are with curiosity, not who I think you are or who you might remind me of that I may have seen or met in my life or in popular culture, but really being able to see you for who you are. And that takes a practice too. That's a muscle of individuating, but it's a great gift to ourselves and to others, because by only seeing the small part of people, we miss out on so much. Can I tell you a quick story about that?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I knew someone who I thought I had known very, very well, a student of mine, who passed away. And I went to his memorial service, and as people talked about his life, I realized that I knew this much about him. I knew this much. I thought I knew this much. That is the beauty and complexity of human beings. So can we kind of tune in, right, to more besides just first glance? S in our PRISM model is stereotype replacement. So I just living in life, say, in kind of the racism of our nation, in movies, in news, in popular culture, I will see a lot of negative, scary stereotypes of, say, black men. is it not important for me to spend time investing in really loading inside myself and my mind images of extraordinary Black men? Maybe I invite you to spend some time at the website of historically Black colleges and universities, and to just swim in the images of brilliance and creativity, and sort of counterbalance all of the negative brush. Finally, for our PRISM model is mindfulness. To be able to do any of this work, to build new kinds of connections, we must show up in a present, connected way. And maybe you and I can talk more about mindfulness on another one of our programs. But anyway, just
or in our article. I love that
as well.
Yes.
So anyway, I hope this is kind of helpful for you. It's certainly for me.
It is. And two things I picked up from there. You're talking about individuation, and how you need to respect people for who they are. And sometimes, obviously, people's relationships, people's experiences differ from one another. And so it's so difficult to really remove that from your system, from your brains, from your mind. And like I think I remember we had briefly touched on this in a previous show where we talked about we were raised to think of negative things, because the cavemen, when they went out of their caves, didn't really look at the sun and say, oh, this is going to be a lovely day. It's like, who's going to kill me today?
Yes,
and how do I protect myself from these wild ants, right? And so already that's going against us, this whole fear before anything even happens.
We can even locate that in our brain. There's a part of the brain called the amygdala. It's that fight or flight, survival, deep brain. And it is very reactive. And so there's
a scientific explanation.
Of course.
Okay.
Fight or flight. And so this is a lifelong work that we need to do within ourselves and with each other to be able to trust, to lean in, to see the best in others.
And I could also relate to you attending a friend's memorial, because I think at this stage in our lives we will have to say goodbye to a lot of our friends, unfortunately. And so I had to fly halfway across the world to send off a friend. And unfortunately, she had one of those aggressive cases of cancer. And thank you. And she left us way before her time. She was 62, had cancer of the hepatic bile duct, which is an aggressive form of pancreatic cancer. And so she had all of 3 weeks from the time she discovered it. And then,
can I ask you, Thelma, was there a particular lesson that she left with you?
Yes, no, exactly your thing. Exactly to my point. You were saying, I thought I knew her well. And because everybody had started to share about how wonderful of a human being she was, and her friends were, I swear to you, went across the continent. She had one friend from Switzerland. She had another friend in Malaysia. She had friends that she made as working as an expat in Hong Kong. She had friends that she made in the UK, because that's where her husband is from. And she actually threw me my 60th birthday, because it was under COVID, no parties allowed. She knew that it was a milestone of her birthday. She actually surprised me with a Zoom party with my own children. I didn't even know what was going on. So it was truly, she did a good job. And then I hear from about 5 other people that she did the same thing for them. And I said to my mind, there are 2 sides to this story. First, I thought I was special, which is fine. And then I wondered, where could she find the time to do it for, like, really invest in such great relationships with these friends, to really make the time to surprise them. Because they were all turning 60. She knew that they were not going to get the party that they would normally have planned for. So here I am, let me give you the second best thing. Because she invested in her relationships, Jeff, her children are now the recipient of so much love from their aunts and their uncles from all over the world. And the husband is relieved to know that anywhere his kids will be placed on this earth, they have an aunt or an uncle who feels so loving towards them. And of course, mom is never replaceable, but that mom has, because of her investment with time and really deep relationships, has now given that gift has passed on that gift to her children. And you could see the support rallied behind her kids, because obviously it's the toughest for the kids and they're still in college, and mom will be sorely missed. But these are the things that we really need to share with you. Part of this clip, just so you know, will be gone because we will include the clip from the Philippine Consulate office with the LAPD officers, as well as my one-on-one interview with our very own Patricia Roque. We'll be right back after a few reminders here on Stop the Asian Hate campaign on FAPCOT TV.
Hi, my name is Nelly Reyes Schwab. People call me Lanelle, and I am here to invite you all to our new nonprofit Assistance Services Institute for Asians in North America, or ASIANA for short. It is something that we offer to our people of color, to diverse minority groups, mostly Asian women who are very talented as creatives, artists, or healthcare professionals. If you want to take your talents or your systems to the next level, where it can be your legacy building, contact us, because we are gonna give to you all the information how you can be helped with our ASIANA app that's been in the works. Thank you so much again, ASIANA, and we will welcome you anytime that you are ready to go and build your legacy. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful time.
Fashion Week. It was very successful. We had a great time watching it, and it's a great way really promoting greater awareness of Filipino culture, especially during this time when we're seeing a lot of hate crimes being committed against Asian Islander communities. I think that many of these hate crimes are being committed because of lack of understanding about the fear of the people, but through shows like this, we are raising awareness of the beauty of our culture, and if there's greater awareness and there's greater tolerance and acceptance of us in mainstream America. So congratulations to you, your organizers of this show. Maraming salamat. Buhay tayo lahat. Thank you.
Maraming salamat din po, Consul General, that you give us this opportunity to get a message from you. We know you're just still having a little jet lag from your trip. Yes, and came from Manila. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for participating and being a part of our inaugural launching for the Asian Pacific Fashion Week. We have more to come. Thank you.
Asian Fall Festival, organized and produced by Diamond 100 Racing Club and Santa Anita Park. The Asian Fall Festival will be held in Santa Anita Park on October 8th and 9th, 2022. Enjoy a beautiful sunny day in Southern California and experience the colorful Asian culture. Asian Fall Festival brings the long-standing Asian culture to Santa Anita Race Park through food and culture of Asian countries such as China, Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, Taiwan, the Philippines, Malaysia, and ASEAN countries. On these special days, you, your family, and foodie friends can gather together to enjoy all the good things in life, as well as the exciting horse racing. We offer dozens of food experiences, music and entertainment activities, such as Korean K-pop dance, Japanese Thai drum, and anime cosplay, bull riding, pony riding, life sketching, and so much more. Come and join us as we create this community festival together. Let's bring an unprecedented fun and gorgeous October 8th and 9th, 2022. For booth sponsorship inquiries, please call Mr. Young's channel 323-561-8279.
Thinking of premeditated violence, perhaps even of killing someone? Your thoughts cannot be ignored or unheard. LifeTarget.org has links to over 400 services ready to help you now. LifeTarget can help you find a proxy, someone always there to help you overcome your thoughts of violence, anger, and hate. Don't let your negative emotions take control. Your loved ones and your community need the positive side of you. You're not alone. LifeTarget has your back.
Welcome to FAPCA TV. In this episode, I thought, why not use this beautiful setting of the city of Valencia, where we had unfortunately, or fortunately, just celebrated a mutual friend's life, Lynn's Boughton. As we sit around and see this beautiful city and the way the migrants have come here to enjoy this gift of a resource, I have just met this friend. May I call you my friend?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We've known each other 2 days.
That's right. This is Stephen Bourne. Any relation to Jason Bourne?
Jason Bourne? Well, he's my brother.
I knew. I could tell from the resemblance. But seriously speaking now, this gentleman, as funny as he is, has a serious side to him. He was and is still associated with Cambridge University. Talk to me about that.
That's Cambridge, England, not Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Right.
The University of Cambridge, I used to be the CEO of Cambridge University Press. And
I'm impressed.
So am I. So am I. And I am what's known as an emeritus fellow of one of the Cambridge colleges, Clare Hall, which is an postgraduate college. And we have lots of people from all around the world. Well, I speak with a lot of overseas background myself. I was brought up in East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania.
Wow.
I lived in France for a while. I lived in Hong Kong for many years. So I'm a person of many places. But the importance of that is I'm absolutely a believer that all of those places I went to, I was the foreigner, I was the migrant. And you have to start thinking in those terms before you can actually recognize what it is when other migrants come to your country.
When the tables are turned.
When the tables are turned. So I am now in this incredibly fortunate position in the UK where I occupy a position of seniority in this postgraduate college that I described. But we are the most international college in Cambridge. Something like 60% of our graduate students and fellows are not British. And that to me is just a huge blessing. To me, it's an opportunity for people like me with foreign background to help them to engage with our own preferences, if you like. Now, I suppose the most important moments that I have experienced there was at the beginning of a university year, and I sat down at dinner one Wednesday evening, and I found that next to me, we would sit next to anyone, any student, I found next to me was a Jewish man and a Muslim woman from Jordan and Israel, and they were sitting down to dinner together, no difficulties at all. Other people were finding it much more difficult to be, in their view, to be accepted. So there was the question of what was it about how we behaved towards them that made them feel uncomfortable. And of course the answer was that maybe their English was quite limited and nobody wanted to spend time talking to someone and turn this into an English lesson over dinner. But actually you have to work a lot harder than that, don't you?
Absolutely. How do you think others would have engaged some people like that in that situation?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you did it. What did you do to make them feel welcome?
The first thing is to ask what subjects that they are studying, and then you're perfectly honest with them and say, gosh, that's wonderful, that's something that I couldn't even begin to do. So then they ask me, so what is my speciality? And so I talked about the publishing industry, which was from running Cambridge University Press, and I talked about my foreign background, and then we started engaging because we were all kind of foreigners together.
You found a similar ground.
That's exactly right. So I wasn't behaving as an Englishman. This is my country and I'm going to tell you how to do things. Nor am I going to be patronizing and say, you must let me come and see your world sometime. It's just, we're all one community here. And it happens to be in Britain, so enjoy it whilst you're in here for however many years. And yes, of course, we'll show you around too, and we'll be coming to see you when you go to wherever you go after that.
I love that. So instead of making them feel alienated,
yeah,
you actually included them, made them feel welcome.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Now, have you ever been in a situation where you were the bystander and you witnessed something that didn't sit well, as in some form of discrimination? And if so, how did you respond to that?
The discrimination is something that people will be either open to hearing that they've been discriminatory or they won't. Most people won't. And so it seems to me that the best way to deal with that is to enter the conversation and show a different way of talking to the people who are not being treated quite as well as they should be. So one very, very good example that I can give you, which I've used many times, is a lot of people in Cambridge don't know how to deal with the large number of Chinese students coming over to this country, to our country, and therefore they sort of ignore them, and that's a kind of discrimination because you don't know where to start the conversation.
Right. You treat them as though they were invisible.
So my game is that I show them my business card, which is this, and on the side that you're looking at there, it's in Chinese.
I love it.
And at that moment they say, I love it. And they say, tell me more about that. So you then enter a conversation about, you have been in my country and worked with us, and you even have a Chinese name, and why is that, and so on.
Now, do tell me the response to all those questions.
Well, this one is particularly funny because I end up with the objective of making everyone laugh. Because my name is, as I was introduced to you as, Stephen Bourne. If you transliterate that into a Cantonese name, which Cantonese is used in Hong Kong, you end up with something like those characters, and they're pronounced Pun Si Fan, which is born Stephen, if you like.
Pun Si Fan.
But when you change it into Mandarin, they still don't get it until I pronounce it in Mandarin and say, well, it's Pan She Xin, which is still Pun Si Fan, but in a different dialect. And everyone is by then thinking, oh my goodness. So
you've got their attention.
Those two types of Chinese language or dialect are so different. And you say, yeah, and then people are all asking questions. The Chinese will tell me I didn't pronounce that very well, and we all have a laugh, and suddenly a relationship develops.
You've warmed them up.
And then they will look at the food that's in front of them and they will say, ooh, what is this? I've never seen this before. and you say, "Ah, so that is whatever it is that they have never seen before. Try it. I eat everything that I'm given in China, so try this," and off you go again. So it's just
Now, is this
first of all about
learned?
breaking down barriers.
I mean, you're naturally funny. I've sat down with you and you are. Now, but the kindness, is that learned, you think?
Yeah.
Or is that a gift? Does that come naturally?
I think it can be both, but you can't expect everyone to be immediately engaged with and kind to foreigners when they don't know if they've got anything in common, right? I was fortunate for being brought up in East Africa, where not only we in the minority and we were surrounded by Africans, but also lots of Indians in particular who had helped to build East Africa, the railways and so on. But also, I grew up, as a lot of people do in foreign countries, speaking their language as well, so English and Swahili. And so it's when you start doing that, you begin to develop an understanding of how language and understanding the quirks of language is quite important. And also in saying to the person you're talking to, great English, but you didn't pronounce that quite right. And then you tell them what is the right thing. And
Do they get offended or do they appreciate
no,
it?
that's the point. You say it in a way that makes them feel that you are trying to help, which you ought to be trying to do.
Right. Because they can sense genuine concern as opposed to judgmental statement or a criticism that doesn't sit well with them. With you, you've always made people, I've watched you. You stand out like a sore thumb because you actually reach out, each and everyone at the table. You don't particularly favor one or the other, and then you get them engaged, whatever it is that interests them, whether it be alcohol, wine, or the culture, or work, or printing in my case. Yeah. But that's a gift, and you said both.
But there is a common theme to all of that. As you talked about printing,
right.
I ran a printing and publishing organisation, so we come from the same background. And there is a trade guild in the City of London called the Worshipful Company of Stationers. It's the old term for publishers, stationers and newspaper makers.
And you told me they were over 600 years old?
It's over 600 years old.
Wow.
I am not over 600 years old.
I didn't think
Forgetting
so.
that, and I'm a member of that company. As you know, I also ran the University Press.
Right.
And then the third thing is, of course, this college in Cambridge that I've been talking about. And the common theme there is that all those three organisations are all about ensuring that those businesses prosper, but actually teaching other people all the things that you know, the skills of those businesses. So it seems to me that if you want to be able to communicate well with other people and help them to want to communicate with you, you need to find that common ground, and that means you probably need to take the initiative as a teacher, but to understand your earlier question, to understand the point at which you could be saying things too directly, and that could be in some way offensive.
Right.
But in my experience, in schools, in colleges, and in trade guilds with younger people who are coming into those worlds and have many years to go, they actually want to listen and they won't be offended. So if you go and say, "Hi, I don't know who you are, I have no idea which country you come from, but I'm Stephen and I come from this, that and the other. Tell me about yourself." And being invited to tell people about yourself is a great way for students to say, "Oh, this is someone who's interested."
Now, I usually have a health psychologist on the show, and I'll probably have him in the second segment. But you hit it right on the nail, because I think people who harass or who discriminate are actually just fearful. They don't know anything about you, and because of that ignorance, they become fearful.
Yeah.
So you almost really, I know I sound like a broken record, you really almost just need to educate them. I always say, tell them what you've done to contribute. So it doesn't look like all we've brought them is misery.
If you want to prove to yourself that you can do that, then actually it's quite easy. You can choose a kind of environment that you have never been in before. So let's say that
You create it.
you can create it, or maybe it's there, but you've never been there because you've never dared to. So
Right.
let's say that in addition to being a Chinatown in a certain city, and you've got something wonderful, a local creature on your hair there,
Okay, thank you.
or a Filipino town
Yes.
in a certain city, or let's say an Indian quarter.
Right.
Indians, I don't know anything about Indians. Well, you just go in. If you have learned a few words in Hindi, for example,
Use it.
or names of dishes, Indian names of dishes, just go in and use it, and you'll find that people are instantly receptive because you've taken the trouble. So it does take
A little bit of work.
bit of learning, a little
Right.
bit of taking the trouble,
Sure.
and you can't just expect people to be instantly standing there and smiling at
Right,
you
right.
when they don't know who you are, they don't
Right.
know what your agenda is.
Now,
Just
food is
I'm
a
here to
unifying.
enjoy.
Sure.
Good,
Food is a
absolutely.
unifying factor,
Hole in one, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Talk about food and you can't go wrong.
Talk
That's
about
a
food.
safe environment and topic right there.
Absolutely, and the thing that I have, again, I was very lucky being brought up in Africa, because the common food that everybody did eat out there, because it was a hot territory, was spicy food. So there are things that are designed to, in some cases, cover food that is getting a bit old now. You know, that sort of thing. So
Interesting.
Indian foods are
I was going to say, does it make you feel cold if you eat spicy? But no, it
No.
actually sort of, how would you say that?
Makes
Does
you
it
feel-
preserve? Yeah.
makes you feel secure in what you're eating. you
Okay,
know?
got it. Got
So
it.
so any place that I go to, I will eat the food of that area.
Sure.
Which has been great in China, because they have so many different regions
cuisine
in
is so
China
rich.
where the cuisine is different. You know,
Yeah.
very spicy or not very spicy.
Right.
And there are great places to go to, like Taipei, for example, which has the cuisine of all of those regions for people who migrated to Taipei. So I think you're quite right. The understanding of food, the drink side of it less so,
Yes.
because strong drink is still not necessarily acceptable in a large
Frowned upon.
proportion of countries. So you go in with what's the easy non-alcoholic drink. You find a lot of people, one way or another, drink tea.
Exactly.
Great starter. With
Exactly.
meals. My father was sent out there with the British Army at the beginning of the Second World War, and he loved it so much that he never left. And he spent the whole war there, didn't go on holiday, and as he said, he thought he had a beautiful war. I'm sure he did. But the great thing was that there were people there at that time. So we're talking, 1939 and onwards. There were people there. The local inhabitants, the Africans, were keen to see all these foreigners coming into their country and to learn that great language, English, from them. And meanwhile, of course, my father was learning Swahili and Luganda, and then he passed that on to me in due course. But my mother, after the war, was sent out by the British colonial teachings, and again, people were so grateful and so receptive. And when you see that coming from the other side, then you have actually gone into a country like that slightly fearful because you know nothing about it, and they are good to you and receptive to you. It's very easy for that to turn into mutual receptivity and respect.
Steve, and that is what I have for you. Respect. We'll be right back after a few reminders here on Falcon TV.
Asian Fall Festival, organized and produced by Diamond 100 Racing Club and Santa Anita Park. The Asian Fall Festival will be held in Santa Anita Park on October 8th and 9th, 2022. Enjoy a beautiful sunny day in Southern California and experience the colorful Asian culture. Asian Fall Festival brings the long-standing Asian culture to Santa Anita Race Park through food and culture of Asian countries such as China, Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, Taiwan, the Philippines, Malaysia, and ASEAN countries. On these special days, you, your family, and foodie friends can gather together to enjoy all the good things in life, as well as the exciting horse racing. We offer dozens of food experiences, music and entertainment activities, such as Korean K-pop dance, Japanese Thai drum, and anime cosplay, bull riding, pony riding, life sketching, and so much more. Come and join us as we create this community festival together. Let's bring an unprecedented fun and gorgeous October 8th and 9th, 2022. For booth sponsorship inquiries, please call Mr. Young's channel 323-561-8279.
This brings to an end our episode for the week. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it over to you. It has been my pleasure, Thelma Sugay, to help bring a stop to Asian hate. As I always say, educate, let's not hate. Again, this program is brought to you by a grant from the California State Library in collaboration with the Burlington Community Services and Housing Development. We'll see you next week.